Okay, so I'll start recording, and I'll also share my entire screen, so that you will be able to see what I am presenting. Yes, so this is introduction to Python programming. Can someone tell me, like, how would this be different from, let's say, introduction to computer programming? This is introduction to Python programming. Okay, and this is CS151, correct? Last week you guys had written your first semester end examination, and you guys have also written CS101, introduction to computer programming, correct? So my question is, can someone tell me what is introduction to Python programming? Anyone? It can be anything that you say.
So
We are taught the
maybe
Python language.
Language similar to C only.
Okay, Python is a language similar to C only. Okay, that is the answer that Prajwal Venkatesh Sintekar has told us. Okay,
so
somebody has something.
Python is a more
No,
user-friendly
C
language that we'll
is
be able to learn in the Python programming.
I didn't get you.
So
so
Python is a very much user-friendly language, much
Yes,
more
yes.
than C.
Correct. Okay,
We will
yes,
learn
okay,
in Python.
okay. So now let us just difference between C
so C
programming
is structured
language
programming language
and
where
Python.
you
Let's just
use
search for
functions.
that. Okay, and I'm looking at the images, and let us take a look at what are the major differences between Python and say, I would say C or it. Okay, let's take the first thing. Okay, so once you look at this thing, you will see that on the left side you have Python, and on the right side you have C. Okay, but it's better that I write down the things for you. So for example, xp new, okay, then I'll write Python is a programming language. Remember, we all started from machine language, correct? Machine language, then assembly language. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Are you able to see my screen? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
Python
We can see.
programming,
Yes.
and so we started with Python is a programming language, and just like machine language, assembly language, then we had high level languages, right? And then we had something called very high level languages. Okay, so we have seen different things like this. Okay, and we can say that the C programming language, right, comes in a high level programming language, and this thing we can say that Python programming language is a very high level programming language. That is what you can probably think of. Okay, so next what I will show you is, let's say I'll just save it. Okay, so that is Python, and now what is the speciality of Python programming language, or what are the differences between Python and uh, you know C programming language? Let us see that.
Here it
So
is user friendly.
it is user friendly. Okay, so everyone says user friendly.
Interpret. So
Oh, oh, it's
C So it is is
interpreted.
not complicated as C.
Yes, it is
Interpret.
interpreted, not complicated as C. Then
And dynamically typed.
dynamically typed. Who said that?
Object oriented.
Yeah.
Sir Bhadraksh Bhargav.
Okay, thank you. Oriented. And this was said by Badraksh. Okay, so first thing, let's keep
Sir, we
this.
can
Yeah,
easily write the code.
right. So that is what not complicated as C would be, kind of, right? So this is what Python is. Python is interpreted. So let us try to write a simple program. Okay, let us write a program that will take two values to the variables a and b, and that will swap the values. Okay, so what I will do is, so this is going to be sample c dot c and sample python dot py. Okay, okay, so let us write the first C program. Okay, so I want to show you what is the difference between C and Python, because you guys have started learning C in the previous semester, right? So in C programming language we have a hash include stdio.h, and then we want to take two variables, right? For that we need to have a main function. Okay, and to take two variables int a, b. Okay, and a is equal to 5, b is equal, oh I'm sorry, a is equal to 5, b is equal to 3, and I will just write temp also. Okay, and then temp is equal to a. Okay, b, a is equal to b, and b is equal to temp. Okay, so this will print the value of printf. Let's say you want to print the values of a and b. Percentage d, a comma b. Okay, is that a valid program? Is this a valid program?
Sir, it's a general swapping program.
It's a general swapping program, correct? So I want to have one more thing. Printf, say hello world \n. Okay, and here also I'm just going to put the \n. Okay, now let's say I want to do the same thing in Python. What are the things that I can do? Okay, first thing, for printf, what I will do is print hello world. Okay, and just look at the differences in the syntax. Okay, so I have print.
So here we write print.
Yeah, so now I have a is equal to 5, b is equal to 3, and then I write a comma b is equal to b comma a. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't need this. Okay, and then what I do is print a comma b. Okay, so let me put it like this. You can see that the number of lines that were required to write the same program has reduced, and the number of things that you had to do, say for example, this is a comment in Python. Okay, this is a comment in Python, and this is what oh, I'm sorry, yeah, this is a comment in Python, and in C programming language this is a comment in C. There are different things. Okay, now let me run this program. So for that I'll take the terminal, cd dot, oh I'm sorry, cd space tilde clear ls sample star. Okay, you can see that there is a sample.c and there is a sample python.py file, correct? So those two things are there. Let's just take a look at just a second. Yeah, let's try to run the C program. How do you run the C program? You have to do gcc sample c minus o sample. C. Okay. Okay. So now this has compiled. So let's try to do the ls once again. So this has compiled the file. This has compiled the program, which means that it is not this is a compiled programming language, C programming language. It has compiled the program, and when we want to run it, we can run it this way. It prints hello world and the values of A and B after swapping. Okay, we know that A and B had 5 and 3 initially, and after swapping it should have 3 and 5, and so that is what it printed. Now for the same program, the Python program, let's see how we will run it. Can anyone tell me how we will run it? First of all, it is not compiled, meaning that we don't have to compile it. Instead, it uses an interpreter. I told you in the previous semester, an interpreter means that say I know Hindi but I do not know Chinese. Now if I want to talk to someone in China, right, I will use a person who knows both Hindi and Chinese, and I will talk to him in Hindi, and at the same time when I am speaking to that person, he is going to translate whatever I am saying from in Hindi to Chinese and then tell to the other person. That is an example for an interpreted programming language. Now in the case of a compiled language, the difference would be like I have a complete book which is written in Hindi and I want to translate the complete book into Chinese, meaning that I am going to do the entire book, print it, and I will get the output as a separate entity. While over here in the interpreted programming language, you need the interpreter. So here the GCC was the compiler. GCC was the compiler that you use to compile the C programming language, and right now you need an interpreter called Python. So Python interpreter can be used, but I will use Python 2 because I have I can use Python 3, okay, because I have written Python 3 code only. Okay, I will use Python 3 code and I will write sample Python space sample python.py, and you can see that it also printed the same output. Correct? It also printed the same output, but this one was printed in a slightly different manner. Is it because can I do it this like this? What happens if I do it this way? Okay, I think I need to do some string formatting there also. Okay, so this is the basic difference between a C programming language and a Python programming language. Okay, first of all, it is let's see what are the notes that we have written. It is interpreted, okay, which means that not compiled. Dynamically typed. What does that mean? Did we see any example for dynamic typing over here in the program that we have written?
Sir, we don't have to mention the type of the variable there in
Yes,
Python.
exactly. Right. So over here in the C program, this we have to mention the type of variable. Here we just assign the value. Okay, so now what I'm going to do a simple exercise here. I'm going to do print type A, okay, and I'm going to write type of A is type A, okay, and I'm saving it, and we're going back to the terminal and Python, sample Python, and it says that type of A is type int. You have seen this keyword so many places. int
Yes, sir.
stands for integer, okay, which means that although I have not mentioned that A is integer, it has stored integer value. Now let us do something else. Now this is very interesting, okay. Say I will go,
Sir?
I will do 5.5, yes,
No, sir, got it.
yeah, and I'll do 3.4, okay, and I'm going to just run the code again, and you can see that this time when I run it, it says A is now a float. which means that I don't have to specify what kind of value am I going to store in there. I just have to store the value. Now let's try another thing. I'm just putting some string over there, and I'm just running this, and you can see that first B had hey is a string, A is 5.5, and then A comma B is equal to B comma A. That's where I did the swapping. This is a this is called a tuple in Python. So don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about it. Worry about it now. Okay, it's a kind of a data type. Okay, now so we can see that I can store any data type, and A was initially storing float, but during the runtime it changed the type to string. You can see that, right? Because initially it had 5.5. So let's try to print this type of A before we swap as well. Okay, type of A is let's say before swapping. So first thing, another thing, there is no need for statement terminator here. Okay, which is I don't have to use a semicolon. I don't have to use a semicolon here. Okay, now I'm going to run the program again. You can see that hello world, type of A is float before swapping, and after swapping it became string. Okay, now I will take you to some set of
Sir?
slides. Yes.
Sir, write A is equal to B without assigning any value or a string or a character.
Prajwal, can you please repeat the question, because your voice broke.
Sir, what if we just write? So what if we just write A is equal to B without assigning any value or string?
Oh, if you just okay, you mean to say that like this? I am going to delete all these things, and you are just writing this. You don't have any other statements. Is that what you're saying, Prajwal?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me just comment.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me just comment this region, and let me just try to assign the value. I guess it should give me an error because I have never initialized the value, and I have never initialized the value, correct? So ideally it should give me an error is what I think. It gave me an error because it says that B is not defined. Okay, so here, right, I don't have to do the declaration
Because we have assigned a variable.
Define. Yes, I have to define. Otherwise what I can do is I can say can I do it this way? Oh, I can't do it this way. Okay, then B is equal to int. I think it's this way. Yeah, I can do it this way. I have to mention what kind of data is B if I am not going to assign it some value and then assign A equal to B. Are you guys able to follow, Prajwal?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, now I'm going to take you to a set of slides. Okay, and okay, so you guys know that I have worked in some place called FOSI.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
FOSI, you can just go to python.fossee.in, and this is Python FOSI. Earlier we had we had a page which showed who all were the people who were there, and all our details were also there. Now it's no longer there because I was there part of the IIT Bombay FOSI team from 2009 to 2011 before I joined for my PhD. Okay, so this is this video is why Python for scientific computing was done by Prabhu Ramachandran, and I worked in the Department of Aerospace Engineering at IIT Bombay, and we developed course content for Python. So I was part of the team member. Now I was part of the team. So this particular course is from there. Okay, Python workshops. So you can actually, if you want, you can go to github.com/AnoobJT. I think let me just take a look. Just a second. Forked repositories. Yeah, there's Python workshops here, which I have forked from FOSI Python workshops, which was written by Prabhu Ramachandran and other team members. Okay, And so I've just used those slides, and I'm just going to show you the first slide onwards. Okay, so I've just adapted the slide with my name and things like that. Okay, so Python language basics. Okay, so in Python, oh, I think there is some issue here. Let me just try to recompile the code. J basic Python ls. I think PDF latex 01 basics. So this is called LaTeX. So I'll show you what is happening here. Okay, you don't have to keep wondering what is happening. This is no magic. Okay. So this slide, right, that you see over here was actually just a simple text document. Okay, so it's a simple text document, and once you run LaTeX Beamer, it's LaTeX that was written. It was written in LaTeX. So this is LaTeX code. So it's saved as .tex. So you save it, and then you have that LaTeX file, and I did I used the compiler PDF LaTeX to compile it into the PDF file, and it produced the different files, like it produced a PDF file and several other different files. So it automatically gave the page numbering, it automatically gave the formatting, etc. Okay, so going back to Python basics. So earlier, the outline, I told you that there was some issue, so I just fixed it now. So Python language basics, and so these are the things that we will look into. Data types: numbers, booleans, strings, operators, simple IO. So there are different primitive data types like float, int, complex. What is complex? Okay, so before I do that, let me also show you something that is interesting in Python. Okay, so in okay, cities, yeah, clear. So I'm going to take Python. I'm just going to type Python. Okay, I just typed Python, and you can see that it opened up something over here, and it changed the terminal from this particular thing that I have highlighted now, this where I typed Python, right, to this particular thing that you can see over here, correct? Okay, so over here I'm going to do some things like 4 plus 5, 9, 5 plus 5, 10. Okay, and I'm going to do some other things as well, like for example, I'm going to write the program that we wrote over here. A is equal to 5, B is equal to 3, A comma B is equal to B comma A. Okay, and then we're going to write print A comma B. Okay, so it's essentially the Python interpreter that we have gone into right now. It's the interpreter. Okay, so I can actually enter जो भी मैं हिंदी में कहेगा वो चाइनीज में ट्रांसलेट करेगा. Whatever I'm saying in Hindi, it's going to translate it into Chinese.
So it has swapped the values, right?
It has swapped the values, exactly, correct. Now let us take a look at what is complex. So it's saying 5 plus 2j, I guess. Yeah, I think it's at a complex number. So I'm going to say A is equal to 5 plus 2j, and I'm going to type of A, and it's saying that type of A is complex. Okay, so this is now a complex number I have added. So I can say B is equal to 3 plus 1j. So it has the real part and the imaginary part, correct? So A is 5 plus 2j and B is 3 plus 1j, and I do A plus B, it changes it to 8 plus 3j, which means that I don't have to, if I have to ask you to write a program in C programming language which is going to do the complex number calculations, you will have to do a lot of things, but here it already has a complex data type also. Okay, So float, int, complex, then it has strings, it has booleans. Say for example, I can write I is equal to true, okay, and I can type of I is a boolean type and I is true, okay. So or else I can say 1 equal to 2, and that is going to be false, or I say 1 is equal to 1, that is true, okay. So that is another data type. So you have float, int, complex, strings, booleans, okay. So the
Sir,
numbers, yes.
sir, in complex, why we write a J instead of I?
That is because, you know, in electrical engineering, this I is actually used for current, and the notation is actually used in some other branches, okay. So as to avoid confusion, this I is not used. So if you use I, right, it will not work. So I'll write 5 plus 2I, 1I, it says invalid syntax. If I write 5 plus 1J, it works, okay. So just read up about that. It is because, you know, in electrical engineering this I symbol is used for some other purpose, and that is actually more what do you call, more common, and so as to avoid confusion, this is not done, okay. So let's
Sir,
yeah,
because in maths we study as 3 plus 4 iota like that. No, so only
I
I
know.
asked.
So I will be called as J here, okay. So J is for representing the imaginary part, it will be written as J for J, okay. So instead of using the I, it will be J. That's the difference. Is it okay?
Yeah, sir, bro.
Okay, so fine. So yeah, these are the numbers. So numbers, right? Here there is a difference as well. So you don't have to mention short int, unsigned int, long int, or any of these things. You can store a big number, a very big number, or a very small number as well. Say for example, uh, I can write a is equal to something like big number. Will it store it? Yes, and it has printed it as well. A into 2, it will do that. A into 5, it will do that, and A into 10, it will do that, okay. And it will present it as a long number. So which means that I don't have to, you know, think about the memory allocation or all those these things, because even for an integer, I can store a huge integer number, no matter, I don't have to worry about whether it is 16 bit, 32 bit, or all of those things. But if you are going to write again programs which are difficult or which are involved, complex, I would say, in that case you might have to go into and look into the details of how it has to be implemented, etc. So integer, floating point values, complex, as we have seen already, bool we have seen, t is equal to true, f is equal to not t, f is equal f or t. So let's type that t is equal to, okay, f is equal to not t, okay. So t is true, f is false, then f or t true, right, then f and t false, okay. So you can do these kind of operations with boolean not, or, and those are logical operations. Then if you want to have precedence specified, then you can use the Bodmas rule again, because you can use the parenthesis here for mentioning the precedence, okay. So a is equal to false, b is equal to true, c is equal to true, a and b or c, a and b or c, etc. And then for strings, right, anything within the quotes is a string, okay. So the first one is in single quotes, this is a string, and the second one is in double quotes, this too is a string. The third one is called in triple quotes, meaning that it opened 3 double quotes, okay, 3 double quotes together, and then writes the text and then closes it with the 3 double quotes together. Or it can be 3 single quotes together and 3 single quotes together to close. All of these things are valid strings in Python, okay. Say I can write a is equal to hello, I can write a is equal to hello, okay. I can write Oh, by the way, if you open it with one type at the left, you have to open it with, close it with the same type at the ending as well. You can't have double at the starting and single at the ending. That's not permissible. Okay, so you have, this is a string, this two, this one two, and one more. Okay, now why are there so many things? Okay, so if I have, so let's take a look at this particular string at the top. This string at the top, right? Just let me show you something else. Okay, say I am going to write a string. Okay, let's say greeting. Hey, I'm good today. Okay, so I'm going to put a string like this, and I'm going to say in this greeting, in the string that I am showing you, I have a single quote inside the text. If I have a single quote inside the text, this will not work. This will give me an error because I am trying to put a single quote and I'm trying to define the string also with single quotes. This will give me an error. So if I use double quotes and I put the single quote in the string, that will work. Okay, that will work. Say greeting is, hey, I am good today. Okay, so that is one reason why we have this double quoted strings and single quoted strings. So with single quoted strings you can have, say, greeting 2. Say I can have something like this, hey, I'm good today. Okay, so greeting 2, which means that this double quotes is also part of the string. Okay, this double quote is also part of the string, and the string was defined using the single quotes at the end. And in the first one, greeting, the single quote is part of the string, and the string was defined by the starting double quote and the ending double quote. Is that clear? And then you
Yes, sir.
have something called, yeah, thank you. If you have then you have something called triple quoted strings. I told you, right? So the triple quoted strings means that they can span multiple lines, which means that story. Here I am writing a big long story that is going to span multiple lines. Oh, sorry, lines. Okay, here I have used triple quotes to open the string, and as you can see everything that I am typing now is part of the string. Okay, until I close it with triple quotes again. Correct? So like this. So this gave me the thing back. So if I type story, it says that here I am writing a big long story \n, because it's a new line that is going to span multiple line \n, and like that. Okay, so this is a triple quoted string, or it's also called doc string. It's also called a doc string, but that's for a specific reason. Okay, so it's a triple quoted string that can span multiple lines. So we have seen different data types, and with strings we can do things like this as well. Say for example, I can have w is equal to hello, print w of 0 h, w of 1 e. I can do w of -1, which means that it is going to take the value at the last. From the last it is going to go from the right to the left. So -1 means it will print O, -2 means it will print L, -3 means it will again print L, -4 means it will print E. Okay, let's try that, whether that's going to work or not. W is equal to hello. Okay, W of 0 is H. W of,
Sir, it means it counts from reverse direction, right?
yes, it can do both. Say if you use a positive number, it will count from the left to the right, and if you give a negative number, it will count from the right to the left. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So W of 1. Okay, indexes are again 0 to n minus 1. Okay, I can do len of W as well. Len means it will give me the length of the string hello, so that is 5. So but if you type W of 5, right, it will give you an error because it's out of index, string out of index. So you have to always do W of len of W minus 1, which is what, n minus 1, which is 4, W of 4, okay, or W of minus 1 because it's the last index. Alright, so again going back, so you can do W of 0, W of 1, W of minus 1, length of len of W, which is going to give you the length of the string. Okay, then there is something over here. Okay, so string is immutable. Okay, so I have, let's say, W over here, right? W of 0 is, oh I'm sorry, W of 0,
Sir,
yeah,
sir,
W
what's
of 0
the
is
actual
6.
meaning of W?
Oh, I'm sorry, forget W. Okay, forget W for the time being. I'm just going to start the interpreter again. Okay, and I'm going to say greeting is equal to hello. Okay, and I'm going to do greeting of 0. Is that clear now? W was a variable. Okay, and here greeting is another variable. Greeting of minus 1 will print O. Okay, len of greeting will print 5. Is that clear? Who asked this question? What is W? Students?
No, sir, I only asked.
Okay, Prajwal, thank you. So W was a
Sir, Prajwal.
variable. Okay, yeah, Prajwal. So W is a variable. Okay, W over here, right? Now strings are immutable. Now we want to see what is that. What does that mean? So greeting is hello in small letters. Greeting of 0 is H. So which means that I am accessing that particular location just like how I will access it with C programming. But can I change its value to capital H? No, because once a string has been created, you cannot change its values, and that is what is called as immutable. And strings are immutable, which means that you cannot change its value. You can completely reassign it a totally different value. Okay, so this is not mutation. This is actually just replacing the variable with a new value. But if I try greeting of 0 is equal to capital H, it is mutation, and that is not supported by strings. Okay, so finding the type, we have already seen a equal to 1, float, type of a, type of 1 is int, type of 1 plus 1j is complex, type of hello is string. Okay, then you have operators, you have percentage, which is the modulus operator, remainder, correct, division, multiplication, then star is actually exponentiation. Okay, so I'm going to say a is equal to 5, a star 3 is a cube, correct, 5 into 5 into 5, that is, and a star, okay, I'm going to write b is equal to 2, b star 5, that is b raised to 5 is 32, and then if I say b raised to 16, that's going to be 65,536, and b raised to 8 is going to be 256, correct. So or it's going to be 2 raised to 8, correct. So you have operators like that, you have percentage for modulus.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, but if you write only single star, then it is just multiply, right?
yes, if you write single star, it is multiplication. I didn't write it that because I thought that was obvious, because I wanted to tell you what was star
Got
star. Okay, so star is for multiplication and star star is for exponentiation, right? And so we have then we have more again 17 by 2 is 8.5 in Python 2. Okay, or in Python 2 it says it's an integer division, but in Python 3 it's a float division. Okay, so let's try that. So right now we are using the Python 2 interpreter. So 17 by 2, it has to give us 18, I mean 8. But if I'm going to use the Python 3 interpreter, so I'm going to use the Python 3 interpreter. So here I have started Python 3.7.3. Okay, and I'm going to write 17 divided by 2, it's going to give me 8.5. You can see that Python 2 gives you 8 and Python 3 gives you a floating point operation. Okay, so that's what it is written over here. Then you have different operations. Then you have divided by 2, divide by 2, which is a floor operation. Okay, so which means that 8.5, floor of 8.5 will be 8, seal of 8.5 will be 9. Floor and seal. Okay, I have used the words floor and seal, flooring and ceiling, flooring on the bottom and the ceiling on the top. Okay, so I guess you guys will be having the next class now, right?
Yes. Yes, sir. Probably.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Has the link been shared with you?
Sir, what is floor and seal?
Floor means
Not yet.
okay, floor and seal math operations. Let's just take a look at math operations, floor and seal. It just says that, given a, so rounding off, right? Rounding off means if the value is 2.5, then a round of 2.5 will be 3. If the value is 2.4, the round of 2.4 will be 2. Okay, and in the floor of 2.9, the value will always be 2. So which means that if you have 2.31, floor of 2.31 will take you to 2 and seal of 2.31 will take you to 3. That's the floor and
Okay.
seal function. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So that's what it is for today, and let's continue with the things from the next class. But today, remember, I have introduced you to the Python interpreter. So Python, okay, Python 3 interpreter as well as the Python 2 interpreter. So Python 3, okay, then Python, if you type just Python, it will open up the Python 2 interpreter. This is because I have these things installed on my computer. Okay, you will have to install these things on your computer as well. And for a very quick look into what is Python, an informal introduction to Python, I will give you this particular link. Okay, so this is docs.python.org, tutorials introduction.php.html. So an informal introduction to Python, using Python as a calculator, numbers, strings. Okay, so I want each and everyone to go through each and every line that is given on that link as well. Okay, and please understand that this is the semester 2 and we have already done introduction to computer programming. So this introduction to Python programming, we won't be going through the very basics. We will quickly go through the higher and higher topics quickly. So please pay attention in the class and do practice and do regularly keep reading up and look at the links that I have shared with you, look at the slides that I have shared you, do practice on your computer as well, please. Okay, so thank you guys.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, will you share the recorded lecture?
yes, I will be sharing the recorded lecture, but not today.
Sir, name the app for Python
Okay,
in mobile.
so okay, wait, for Python, right? Python notebook, I'm sorry, notebook. So there's something called jupyter.org. Okay, you can go to the website called jupyter.org and then you can click on try. Okay, and it says Jupyter Lab and Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so I'll take the Jupyter Notebook. That's the Python notebook as well. Okay, so I clicked on Jupyter Notebook, and okay, so I'm going here and I'm going to click on new notebook. Okay, and what is it, kernel? Yeah, okay, fine. Okay, okay, I'll do a is equal to 5, b is equal to 3, a comma b is equal to b comma a, and I'm going to run it. Let's run it. Let's see what is going to happen. It has not run for some reason. Kernel, reconnect to kernel. Okay, run. It has not printed any outputs. That is Jupyter. And another thing is, I think I'll show you Colab Google. There's something called colab.research.google.com. You will be able to sign in with your reply TT email address. But if you guys have a laptop, I suggest you use the laptop. Okay, and install Python by yourself. We will create a new notebook. Say okay, this I have already logged in to Google Collaboratory with
Sir?
it. Yes,
Sir, can we not use PyCharm?
PyCharm is an IDE, right?
Yeah, I have studied from somewhere only.
Okay, PyCharm is an IDE, just like your it's an integrated development environment. You can use. You can use.
Sir, you can also use Visual Studio Code.
No, I would. Okay, so I'll show you. I'll introduce you to something else as well. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. I'm going to introduce you to something else as well, and I'm going to type IPython 3. Okay, this is called IPython 3. This is going to be even more interesting. Okay, this is a different interpreter for Python. This I stands for an intelligent version of the Python interpreter, which means that I can actually put up arrow, down arrow. Okay, and I can also look at percentage hysteresis minus n l. Yeah, I mean it will show me my previous commands as well. Okay, but for some reason I've not done this. So this is a better interpreter. So you please work with the interpreter as well as the editor. Okay, so I've shown you how I have written a sample python.py with my editor. Okay, you can write programs like this, and you can just go ahead and run it with the interpreter as well. Okay, so it will work on your Windows as well. Okay, so PyCharm is also fine, not an issue. You can try. Okay, the notebook has started, so a is equal to 5. The Colab has started. B is equal to 6. A comma b equal to b comma a. Then yeah, then I think I can run it. Yeah, run all. So it's running it, but before that you can see it on the right side that it's allocating. Okay, so connecting to Python 3 Google Cloud Engine backend. It says connecting, and once it's connected, it will run it. Okay, so it will be slightly time taking until it connects. It's initializing. Yeah, now connected. You can see that it's going to yeah, I think yeah, let's print a comma b. Okay, so how did I run it? I just ran it with shift enter, and you can see that the output is printed here, right? And I can create any number of cells also. Say for example, I can write print a raised to 4. Okay, because a was initialized in the previous cell, the same variable is accessible in the next one as well. Okay, and so on. So you can you can write Python this way as well. And for applications, Colab app for Android, is there something like that? Yeah, I think there is an app for Colab on but no, that's not related to the can I have not used programming on my mobile phone, because that is something that I wouldn't be doing. I have a computer. Okay, so if those students who only have a mobile phone, can you guys please look into different applications, and please get back to me and tell me what application you are using. Yes or no, students?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Abhishek, do you have a mobile or only a you have a computer?
Both, sir.
Both. Okay. So please look into whether what application you can use on your mobile phone and get back to me. Okay. I guess you have the next class now, right? Or don't you have now?
Yes, sir. According to the timetable, we are having
Yes,
like.
so we have
Okay.
only smartphones.
Okay, then that's it, guys. So let's meet in the next week, because this Friday is going to be a holiday. So Friday, otherwise we will have the lab as well as the class. Okay, again. So, but if you guys, if the next teacher has not contacted you, I will actually take some more time. I will actually teach you a little bit more. So the arithmetic operators. So we have seen the floor division. We have seen next is arithmetic operators. So you can find the absolute of the complex number C. Say C is C3 plus 4j. So let's take the yeah, I'm now going to use the IPython interpreter. So I'm going to write A is equal to 3 plus 4j, right? 3 plus 4j. Okay, so you can see that this Python interpreter is also colorful, IPython. Okay, so type of A is
Sir?
complex. Yes.
Sir, can you share the link for this installing the IPython?
Oh, sure. Installing IPython spoken tutorials. Foresee. Let me just take a look at whether um,
Hello friends, welcome to the tutorial on getting started with IPython. What is IPython? IPython is an enhanced interactive Python interpreter.
so
It
just take
provides
a look at
features like
this.
tab completion and easier access to help.
But no, not a good idea at all. So I'll share you the next link. Okay, here you can go to python.foci.in slash spoken tutorials. Okay, and here there is a link. Click here to access the Python spoken tutorials. So let's, yeah. So I'm going to share this link with you. Okay, just go through this, and again for installing IPython, you can just go to ipython.org slash install.html. It will give you more details about how you can install IPython. Okay, so I'll share the link. Okay, is that okay? Okay, now I'll continue with
Yes, sir, explain.
yeah, I'll continue with the arithmetic operators. So you have C is equal to 3 plus 4j. So let's take the terminal. Type of A is complex. So ABS absolute. Okay, I can write. Okay, now I'm going to introduce you to something nicer in IPython. Okay, so over here, right, I can type of A. Okay, I can also type a question mark in IPython. I cannot do it with Python interpreter. Say I cannot do A is equal to 5 and then a question mark. It will give me an invalid syntax in Python interpreter. With the IPython interpreter, I can type a question mark and it will give me the docstring for complex. Okay, and I can write ABS question mark. ABS, I cannot do that in Python. Okay, Python interpreter. IPython is the same Python interpreter, but it has some more additional features that are inbuilt to it. So ABS question mark, will tell me returns the absolute value of the argument. Okay, and ABS I can type double question mark, and oh, that did not give me any significant result differences. So A is 3 plus 4j, and absolute of A is 5, that is 3 square plus 4 square, the square root of 3 square plus 4 square, correct? And then you can access C dot imaginary, oh I'm sorry, A dot imaginary. Okay,
Absolute means it gives the absolute value, right?
yes,
So it means that modulus.
it is the modulus. Okay, and then A dot imaginary, A dot real, then A dot conjugate. Okay, that's a function, I guess, yeah. And then okay, so you have C is equal to 3 plus 4j, absolute of C will give you the absolute value. Okay, then C dot image, right? So I can see, oh I'm sorry, it's not C, it's A dot image. Okay, that's just a floating point value. Okay, so you can type A dot and keep pressing tab in IPython interpreter. It will show you all the possible completions. So you can write image A dot real. So here, right, this is something that you need to understand. This is the concept of object oriented programming. Okay, so we haven't learned that, we have not learned that so far. Okay, so we have learned procedural programming, right? C is a procedural language, and Python is an object oriented programming language. Okay, so what are objects? Let's see. Object oriented programming language understanding. We need to understand what is object oriented programming language. Okay, so let's take a look at the images. Let's see whether we will get some good image to understand object oriented programming. Unfortunately, I cannot find anything that I can tell right away, but I think I saw one which is good enough. Okay, so here what we need to think of is objects. Objects are something that human beings can interact with in the real world. What did I say? Objects are something that human beings can interact with in the real world. Okay, so which means that an object, object, this is a cup, right? So I can have a cup. A cup can have measurements like the radius, the cylinder height, and all those information. Okay, then we can have we can consider a person, or I mean anything, as an object. Okay, even a person can be modeled as an object. Okay, or a ball, or the earth, or the spaceship, or the watch can be modeled as an object. Okay, so for example, the person has gender, the person has a name. Okay, the person has a has shoes. Okay, the person can put the shoes. Okay, the person can put the shoes, the person can change the shoes. Okay, and a person can have a job and something like that. And okay, and so that is a person. Similarly, we can have a policeman as an object if we want, which means that the policeman can have different attributes and different methods or different actions he can perform. So which means that an object is anything that we want to consider having certain properties and certain actions. Okay, properties or attributes and certain actions. Say for example, person has name, person has gender, okay, person can drive, okay, person can change clothes, okay, person can do some action or method. Okay, so this is what we need to understand. Now the reason why I am telling you this is, in object oriented programming language, okay, we have, let's say, complex, okay, or we have a is equal to 3 plus 2j, which is if I type of a, right, it will give me that it is a complex data type. Okay, now a is an object of type complex. Okay, a has imaginary and a has real, okay, a can, okay, can a can compute conjugate. Okay, so it will show up bigger. Yeah, so we started with something like object oriented programming. Okay, so a is equal to 3 plus 2j, type is a, complex data type. A is an object of type complex, and so which means that a has something, an imaginary field, and a has a real field, and a has a method associated with it, which is conjugate. Or you can say that these are the complex numbers or the complex objects, attributes and methods. So complex has imaginary and real as the attributes, and complex can compute. Okay, so that is what we need to understand. And why did I tell you that? Because here is the first time. So ABS of C, you can see that ABS is a function. Okay, so this is something that you have already done all the time, but C dot imag and C dot real are the things that you have not done so far. Okay, you have done that in structures, in C structures, correct? But C dot conjugate is not something that you have not done, because conjugate is a function that is associated with the object C, or the complex has a method conjugate in it. That is what the correct usage would be. So just introduced you to object oriented programming. So just understand that C is also an object, and C is of an object of type complex. C has imaginary field, C has a real field, and C has a method conjugate. Okay, you can have different other arithmetic operations as well. A is equal to 7546, a plus is equal to 1, so that is a is equal to a plus 1. A is equal to a minus 5 can be written as a minus equal to 5. A is equal to a into 2 can be written as a star equal to 2. A is equal to a divided by 5 can be written as a by equal to 5. Okay, so same kind of things that we have seen in C programming language. Then you have string operations. You have S is equal to hello, P is equal to world, S plus P will concatenate hello and world and put together it as one single string called hello world without spaces, of course, because the S and P did not have spaces. Then S into star, I mean S into 4, S has the value hello, so S into 4 will repeat hello 4 times, so S into 4 is hello 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 without spaces again. Okay, but you can do S, you can't do S into S because S is a type of integer, I'm sorry, S is a type of string, so a string into a string doesn't make any sense. But S into 4 means I want to repeat the string 4 times. Okay, so you can have different other methods also available with it. So you can have, let's say we are assigning the value hello world to the variable a, so a is equal to hello world, then a dot starts with hell, hell, that's a function, that's a method associated with the string a. Okay, so let's say I'm going to clear, and a is equal to hello world, oh, I'm sorry, hello world, clear. Okay, a is hello world, okay, a is hello world, and so a dot starts with d, it will give me false, correct. A dot starts with h, true. A dot starts with he, true. A dot ends with, okay, ends with h, no, a, the string hello world doesn't end with h, it ends with d, true. Does it end with ld? True. Does it end with rld? True, correct. So hello world, a dot starts with hello, a dot ends with a dot upper, okay, so a is hello world, a dot upper is a method, so a dot upper is a function call, okay, but a's value has not been changed yet because a is immutable, so a dot upper, then a dot lower, okay, that's always already in lower letters, so it will not make any difference. So a dot upper and a dot lower, a dot capitalize, I guess there is something called that as well, so it will capitalize the first letter of the word to be capital, so capital H, okay, but you can see that the value of a
Sir,
has still not changed. Yes,
sir, in the upper one, that upper keyword,
yeah,
it capitalizes all the letters.
yes, it capitalizes all the letters. Okay, upper means it
Okay, got
changes
sir.
everything to uppercase, lower means it changes everything to lowercase, and capitalize means it changes only the first letter of the word. Okay, then you have some other functions. Okay, so let's say a is equal to, in double quotes, very so many spaces hello, then so many spaces again, so a is what, this, a of 0 is what, hello. A dot strip can remove the additional spaces before and after the correct text, and a dot strip will get me hello. But how did it strip it? Strip takes the the character with which it has to be stripped, and I am passing single quotes, I mean a space in the single quotes, okay, or I am passing a space in the double quotes, or I am passing nothing, because even if I don't pass space, it will automatically look for spaces, okay, that is a dot strip. So a is equal to a dot strip, I mean b is equal to a dot strip will assign the value of the computation a dot strip to b, so I can say b is equal to a dot
Sir,
strip. Yes, yes.
sir, what if we insert a variable in that strip and in that you
Oh, you
quote, no?
mean to say a variable as an, okay, let me say I am going to write space is equal to this way, okay, so space is a variable, correct, and a is this thing, so b is equal to a dot strip space, it will work, right, or
Yeah, sir, this
yes,
way.
yeah, correct? That will work. Yes.
Okay, sir. Got it.
So a is equal to hello world, b is equal to a dot strip. So then it will have the value hello world with the spaces stripped in b. B of b dot index.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, but what if we didn't assign any variable? I mean that you write the space is equal to that quotes,
Yes.
no?
Then it
Like,
will give me an error. I can do
yeah,
that.
that's what I
Like
want.
space. I have deleted space and I tried this. It says namespace is not defined.
Yeah, sir. It means we need to define first
Yes,
here.
yes, yes, yes. See, a computer is a dumb device. Garbage in, garbage out. If you try to ask it to do something that it cannot do it will give you, it will produce gibberish, right? I have told you this thing like last time, right? In the introduction to computer programming class, garbage in, garbage out. Do you remember that? So if you do not define the particular thing and this is not supposed to work that way, then it will produce unwanted errors. And that's the reason why we are learning programming,
Yes.
correct? Right. Yeah. So
Got it, sir.
yeah, here b dot index ll. So that is going to give me the index. So 0 at 0, at 0th position, and in b it is capital H, first position E, then 2 is L, 3 is L. So b dot index ll appears at the location B. So let's say B, right? B dot index O, b dot index lo, L, okay, then lo it is at 3. If it is el, it is at 1. Okay, I can try ele, it says substring not found, because that's not a substring. So which means that here I can pass the index of, I can pass a single character, or I can pass a string to look for the substring. I can also do b dot replace hello with goodbye, and it will be hello replaced by goodbye and goodbye world. So it will be like x is equal to good morning class, okay, and x dot replace good with bye bye. Okay, that will be bye. Oh, I'm sorry, that will be bye bye morning class. It should be, yeah, it will be bye bye class. Okay, so the same kind of replacement, etc., right, which you, if you had to do in C programming language. Of course, if I ask you to write a C programming language to do C code for doing all these things, I'm sure at least 60% or 65% of this class would be able to do that, because you guys have already done introduction to computer programming. So this is Python programming, and Python has a lot more advanced, easier functions like this. Okay, so then you have something like split and join. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so x is what? Good morning class. X dot split, again with space, if I give it like this, it will give me good morning and class. And what is that that I have produced? So let's type of x dot split. So whatever x dot split is going to calculate, what type is that? It's going to be a type of list. Okay, and I'm going to now, let's say x of 0 is going to give me good. Okay, so I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to also introduce you to something called list now. So y is equal to x dot split, y is good morning class, so which means that y of 0 is good, y of 1 is morning, y of 2 is class, y of 0 is sorry, G, correct, y of 1 0 is M, y of 2 0 is C, etc. Okay, so you have something like split and join as well over here. So let's say let's say Yeah, X is good morning class, Y is good morning and class, and Y was created by Y is equal to X dot split. Okay, even if I don't give the space there, space is the default character with which it will split. Space and tabs are the default characters with which it will split, so it will still work. Okay, and if I want to join it, okay, I can join it without spaces. I can join it like this. This will join it with good morning class without spaces. If I give a space here, it will join it with good space morning space class. If I give you know dot it there in the single quotes, it will do it as good dot morning dot class. If I give a semicolon here, it will be good semicolon morning class. Okay, so I'm going to do this as x dash. Okay, so x dash is good morning class, so x dash dot split, and I can give semicolon over there in the parameters to the split function, and x dash dot split with semicolon, it will split as good morning class, and I can then join it with space if I want. Okay, and I can write programs like this as well. Is it clear, students? So characters
Yes, sir.
ABC, characters dot split A comma B comma C, and then string dot join ABC 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 join, right? You can do it all these ways. So then you have string formatting also, like %d, %f, like how you have used in C programming language. You can do the same thing here in Python also. As I told you right earlier, say print A is equal to 5, B is equal to 3, A comma B is equal to B comma A, print percentage. Okay, after swapping value of A is %d and B is %d. Okay, percentage A comma B, correct? So it will print after swapping value of A is 3 and B is 5, correct? So you have string formatting. Then you have relational and logical operators. This is something that we have already seen earlier when I did 1 equal to 2, when I taught you Boolean, if you remember. So here p comma z comma n is equal to 1 comma 0 comma minus 1. So p, z and n are three variables which are going to get the values 1 for p, 0 for z and minus 1 for n. That is what it means. Okay, this is called a tuple, and this is called a tuple unpacking. That's the first step that is shown here. So let's say p comma z comma n is equal to minus 1 0 1, right? Oh, it's 1 0 minus 1. So p will have the value 1, z will have the value 0, and n will have the value minus 1. And p equal to n will be false, because p is having the value 1 and n is having the value minus 1. P is greater than or equal to n is true, and n is less than of z and less than of p, true. P plus n not equal to z. So I'm sorry, that's my pet dog who has just come near me. So you will see that in the recorded video. So you can see that my pet dog is just behind me and he is just making noise. Okay. So p plus n not equal to z. So p is 1 and n is minus 1. So p plus n is 0 and not equal to z is false, because it is equal to 0. Correct? P plus n is 0, p plus n equal to z is true, or if I give not equal to z, it will be false. Then you can have assert statements. Okay, so you can have assert p not equal to n, assert p equal to n. Okay, so no error if the condition is true and raises error if the false. So if I give assert p plus n not equal to 0, it will give me an error, assertion error. If I give equal to, it give me no error because it's correct. Okay, so assert p not equal to n, assert p equal to n. Okay, then you can also give it some optional message. Say for example, I can give failed. Assertion failure, CS151 error message. Okay, so it will give me assertion failure CS151 error message over here. So that is assert. And then you can have the keyword in. So that is to check whether a particular substring is present in the string or not. Say for example, x was good morning class, right? Now x morning, okay, it has to be like this, morning in x, true. Okay, evening in x, false, because the, okay, then if I try class in x and class in, yeah. So just a second guys, I'll just come back.
Sir, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
interrupt you, sir, but after 5 minutes we are having another class,
Okay,
sir.
then in that case, that we will break here. It's good that we had so much of time. Actually, 2 classes together in the first time itself. So we have finished around 31 slides. So this is string containership, and you can do conversion built-in like typecasting. Yes.
Sir, can you please share the slides?
Yes, I will share these slides. And I have told you, right, these are available in the GitHub page as well. You can just go to github.com /fossey Python workshop and you will get the information from there if you want. Otherwise also I will share the PDF. Yes, I didn't get you.
But sir, we are unable to sometimes log in here.
Oh, on GitHub?
Yes, sir.
That is because you don't have an account. You have to create an account and then you will be able to log in. And this is a public repository, okay? Which means that you will be able to access without any restrictions. Okay, so these are like the typecasting, int, okay, float. So which means that the operation is typecasted into the particular integer type. Operation is typecasted into the particular float type. Then this is typecasted into string type. This is rounded by the function round. Okay, like that. So that's it. Let's continue from this class, these slides tomorrow onwards. I'll share these all the materials with you. May not be today because as I told you I'm traveling, so I'll share it with you as soon as possible, but the link is already shared. Yes, Prajwal.
Sir, please upload that in Google Drive.
Yes, I will do that. Sure. Just like how I did it last time, and I will put the link on the Moodle also.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prajwal, and thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Please, learn it very meticulously. Do not miss anything because we will be going quickly from topic to topic as we progress. Okay. Thank you everyone. Bye.